Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to our Kartik month special. We started our Brajamandala Parikrama yesterday, and there is many different types of parikrama. There is a Mathura Parikrama also that you can do. The largest one is the Brajamandala Parikrama. Today we're going to do Govardhan Parikrama. You can also do Barsana Parikrama. There are so many different parikramas that can be done. But today we're going to begin with visiting Govardhan Hill. And of course, we have already been through the pastime and there is a glorification, an entire chapter called the Giriraj Mahatmya and the Garga Samhita. So some of the pastimes that we hear about in relation to Govardhan Hill is actually coming from this Garga Samhita. So there is a Siddha who speaks Girirajo Hare Rupam Sriman Govardhano Girihi Tasya Darshana Matrena Naroyati Kritarthatam. The liberated soul said, glorious Govardhana Hill, the king of mountains, is the person form of Lord Krishna. Simply by seeing it, a person attains the supreme goal of life. And in the same Garga Samhita, in an earlier canto, in chapter 1, the 15th verse says, Vaikunthan na paro loko na bhuto na bhavishyati ekam vrindavanam nama Vaikuntha cha parat param. No place is better than Vaikuntha. There never was such a place, nor will there ever be. Still, better than Vaikuntha is the place named Vrindavan. And within Vrindavan, you will find that there are so many different tirthas that are even more glorious. So this is an aerial view of Govardhan Hill. So you can see Govardhan Hill going across like this. And both sides you can see townships. So in the center is Govardhan Hill. It is said that when Lord Krishna lifted this Govardhan Hill, it was 24 kilometers in height. We cannot imagine how huge this mountain must have been if it was 24 kilometers in height. That same hill, you can see a lateral view like this. So this is Govardhan Hill. And the Parikrama Marg is around here like that. It goes all around. Of course, there are certain areas where you can enter inside and walk, and then you'll come back to the outer path to complete your Parikrama. On Govardhan Puja day in Vrindavan, this place is packed with devotees. We're not talking about thousands of devotees. We are talking about lakhs of devotees. Many Vrajavasis will come. Many people from North India come. And they do all kinds of parikrama. So this is at the top of the hill where Srinathji Mandir is. It is said that this particular deity was actually either within the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya being worshipped, but somehow or the other it changed hands and it went over to the Vallabha Charya Sampradaya. Now, as devotees, we do not climb onto Govardhan Hill because Govardhan we consider as non-different than Krishna. So if Govardhan Hill is non-different than Krishna, then we cannot put our feet on Govardhan Hill. We are also told not to pick up any stones or shila from Govardhan Hill because already all this illegal mining and other things have taken place over many years under some other government in UP. So generally out of respect for Govardhan Hill and out of respect for Mother Nature, we don't violate Govardhan Hill. You may see other people climb the mountain, but in ISKCON we are advised not to step on Govardhan Hill. In Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara also, they worship the hill as Lord Krishna. So definitely you can't put your feet on this most holy place. So this Govardhan Parikrama is a 23-kilometer Parikrama. So normally, if you start very early in the morning, I remember a few years back, we thought, okay, we'll get an early start on the Parikrama. We'll start at 4 o'clock or 3:30 or something like that. At 3:30 in the morning, there were lakhs of people on the road who have already started their Parikrama. Young people, old people, children, people in wheelchairs, people on without a limb. They are on crutches. So I witnessed so many astonishing things on that particular parikrama. And there are different ways you can do this parikrama. Walking is, of course, the most known way and the most common way in which people take this parikrama of this 24 kilometers around Govardhan Hill. But you will see people doing Dandavats parikrama, which means they will offer obeisances, go flat, and then they'll get up and they'll do it again, and they'll get up and do it again. So definitely, when you're doing Dandavats parikrama, you cannot complete the parikrama in one day. So it will take you several days, perhaps, to complete the parikrama. So what is the pastime behind this most sacred mountain? It is said that it is the most sacred place in the three worlds, Govardhan Hill. And when Govardhan Hill appears, all the other hills come here to worship Govardhan Hill. So he is called Giriraj Parvat. So he is the crest jewel of Brajabhumi. And most of our acharyas, the Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas, would stay in and around the Govardhan Hill. You will hear about it when we make progress on this parikrama. So Pulastya Muni, he was living in Kashi, and he wanted a place to perform his austerities. And he searches and comes across this very young Govardhan Giri. This Govardhan Giri is said to be the son of Dronagiri. So he attracts the attention of this great Pulastya Muni. And he goes and asks Dronagiri, give me your son in charity. Because I want a place to meditate. So when a great Rishi asks you for your son in charity, how do you say no? You can't say no. So Pulastya Muni approaches Govardhan Giri and tells him, yeah, you have to come and serve me. I want a place to meditate on the Lord, so I need your assistance. So Govardhan tells him, yeah, I will come, but I have a condition. You can lift me and take me wherever you want. But if at all you put me down anywhere and take a break, then I will stay there. So this is the condition that the young Govardhan Giri had for Pulastya Muni. So Pulastya Muni picks up Govardhan Hill from the Shalmali Dvipa, which is actually not in this cosmos, and brings him to Kashi. Or rather, he wants to take him to Kashi. But along that journey, through the potency of Yoga Maya, Pulastya Muni had to take the call of nature. And so he sets Giriraj down. And when he's ready to continue on his journey to Kashi, Giriraj very politely tells him, don't you remember our agreement? Wherever you put me down, that's where I will stay. Of course, this is all the Leela, because Govardhan Hill had to come down here, because Radharani had requested that if they had to do their pastimes, then Govardhan Hill must be present along with Yamuna River and all the various kunds there. So he was forced to leave Govardhan behind. Of course, he gets very angry because he feels he's been tricked. And he curses Govardhan Hill. Some curse that the size of the hill will reduce by the size of a mustard seed every day. And therefore, you don't see the Govardhan Hill in its original situation of being this very tall, huge hill. You barely see the hill, actually. And it is more long than it is high in terms of height. So on top of this hill is that Srinathji Mandir established by the Vallabhacharya Sampradayam. However, there are places where you can do Govardhan Shila Abhishek on the path of the Parikrama. And of course, on the day of Govardhan Puja, the places are packed, and therefore thousands and thousands of devotees would be coming to do milk abhishek, right? So here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the verses in the Govardhan Leela, Shri Krishna says, Shailosmi, that I am this rock that should be worshipped. So here is some pictures of a devotee performing nice abhishek of the Govardhan Shila along the Parikrama route. And this is actually the Parikrama route. So where did we visit? Yesterday we started our journey in Mathura. This is, obviously this map is not to scale, right? This looks like a small map, but this is a vast area. We understood it is 168 miles. So we started our journey in Mathuravan, we went to Raval, we went to Talavan, we went to Bahulavan, we went to Brahmanda Ghat, Chintaharan Ghat. But in proximity here is actually Govan. So this is the mountain. We going to begin our journey in Manasi Ganga. It is said that the Govardhan Parikrama must start here after taking a dip in this Manasi Ganga. Here is an aerial view of Manasi Ganga, the starting point, and the spires that you see here. That's the temple here. There are some nice deities. I removed the deity pictures somehow or the other. But across, we'll come back to Manasi Ganga and then I will talk to you about Haridev. So along the Govardhan Parikrama, we said, in the Mathura Mahatmya, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions that to begin the Govardhan Parikrama, one must take a dip here in Manasi Ganga. There is a place where they have organized, where the water is coming out like from showers or pipes, I would say, not really showers. So you can just get down the steps and take a bath in this water without actually stepping into the Manasi Ganga. It is said that Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, they wanted to take a bath in Ganges. And they wanted to do the Tirth Yatra, visit all the holy places, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Yamunotri, Gangotri, etc. Krishna tells them, actually all the holy rivers are already here. They already reside in Rajabhumi. There's really no need for you to go all the way to the Ganges to take a dip. So it is said that when the parents insisted, no, they wanted to visit the Ganges and personally take a dip there, Krishna, from his mind, produces this particular lake. And hence it is called Manasi Ganga, because it comes from the mind of Krishna. The other Ganges emanates from the lotus feet of Krishna. This was actually created from the mind of Krishna. So this is considered to be non-different from the Ganges river. It is also said that Mother Ganga, when she hears that Krishna is performing all these pastimes on the banks of the Yamuna river, she also is yearning to have association with Krishna. And she was thinking, I am not so fortunate. Yamuna Devi is so fortunate. She is the recipient of the lotus feet of the Lord. Why does the lotus feet? Even the body of the Lord, then they would take a bath in the Yamuna river. So she requests her sister Yamuna to get the blessings of Krishna so that she may also get an opportunity to serve. And because of that, she gets an opportunity to serve at the foothills of Govardhan Hill. There are many, many loving pastimes that happen here between Radha and Krishna. So one day, Radha and the Sakhis wanted to cross over from one end of Manasi Ganga to the other end. And therefore, they were looking for a boatsman. Sure enough, a boatsman appeared out of nowhere. And he said, yes, I will take you across this Manasi Ganga. And they said, what is your payment? He said, the payment will be, butter, milk, yogurt. So they say, okay, fine, we can give you that. After all, that is what we're trying to transport across this Manasi Ganga. We are happy to give that to you in payment. Midway through this lake, Krishna says, oh, Krishna is the boatsman, by the way, disguised as a boatsman. So they don't recognize Krishna at first because he's disguised himself, but not very properly also. You'll discover. Midway through, Krishna says, oh, I'm so tired. I want to take some rest. And Radharani becomes furious. She says, what do you mean you're going to take rest right in the middle of the lake? How long are you going to take rest? Well, I'll take rest. And Radharani says, no, 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 we have to sell all of this and we have to cross over into the other town and you are impacting our sales and all of this and all of our effort will go to waste. And Krishna says, well, okay, you give me your payment right away. Then I will take you across this lake. And when Radharani is thinking, no, 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 I don't want to give the pay. You've not even completed the transaction. You're supposed to take us to the other place and only then we will give you payment. Krishna very devilishly starts rocking the boat. So Radharani starts panicking along with the other Sakis, thinking they're about to drown because the sportsman is acting like a rascal, being so obnoxious and rude with them. And then as she looks closer at the sportsman, thinking, why is he doing all of this mischief? Why would any normal boatsman do all of this mischief? And she looks close and behind the turban, she sees a peacock feather. So Krishna didn't disguise himself very properly. So she discovers that it's Krishna. And she gets furious at him. So anybody who takes a dip here in this Manasi Ganga, it's as good as taking a dip in the Ganges River. Across from this Manasi Ganga, through some very narrow streets where only cycle rickshaws can go or scooters can go, you will come up a little hill. This is called the Haridev Mandir. And the simple pastime here is that one day Radharani and the Sakis were waiting for Krishna. Because he didn't come on time, Radharani simply says, hey, Haridev, please come. The minute she said, hey, Haridev, please come, this deity form that you see on the right-hand side appears with his left hand lifted up and holding the Govardhan hill. And then Radharani and the Sakis begin to worship this Haridev. It's a beautiful deity, actually. You have to climb up these stairs. Those steps look like ordinary steps, but they are very steep. It is not easy to climb those steps. So you climb up the steps. It's on a little hill. And earlier this year, the Padukas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were established here. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited this particular place. So this is called the Hridev Mandir. And I mentioned about the parikrama. This here is a closer look at Govardhan Hill. You can see all of the rocks and shilas there and some samples of parikramas. As I said, children do parikramas, old people do parikramas, disabled people do parikramas. The amount of faith that the Brajavasis and devotees have, they are such simple people. And they will do parikrama barefoot in the hot sun. And you really cannot do parikrama in July and August. I remember once we visited and we were doing Govardhan Parikrama in the hottest month of the year. And we could see Vrajavasis very casually walking barefoot. We were all with our slippers. We couldn't handle the heat on the floor. So you can see even children are doing parikrama. Imagine doing Dandavats Parikrama. For how many kilometers? 23, 24 kilometers. So this is the Govindakund. We'll come to this a little later. The boatman pastime that we talked about. So here is another beautiful view of Manasi Ganga from a drone camera. You can see Krishna disguised as the boatsman and creating havoc for Srimati Radharani and the Sakis, where he rocks the boat and makes them very, very nervous. Everything goes falling, crashing into the river. We'll come back to the Govind Kund. What is the Mahima behind that? We'll look at Uddhava Kund. So here, the beautiful thing about the Govardhan Parikrama is it is filled with kunds. Small, small, and not even small, small. Many of them are pretty large, very large. You can see this beautiful Goshala there. Cows you can see. So this is Uddhava Kund. Uddhava was a very confidential devotee of the Lord. They had a wonderful friendship. And it is said that Uddhava looked almost like Krishna. He is a disciple of Brihaspati. And when Krishna leaves Vrindavan and he is in Mathura for some years, he has a lot of association with Uddhava. And therefore, Uddhava was thinking that nobody could understand Krishna as much as he could, because they really had a close bond with each other. Their love for each other was so great in the form of friendship. But Krishna noticed that Uddhava was developing a little bit of pride, maybe, that only he understood Krishna and nobody could be as devoted to Krishna as he is. So he very gently wanted to correct Uddhava's notion that he was a great devotee of Krishna. So what does Krishna do? Anyway, he told the Brajavasis, don't worry, I will come back. So to give them some solace, Krishna writes a personal letter to the gopis and hands it to Uddhava and tells Uddhava, you please go deliver the letter, not only deliver the letter, but also please read the letter aloud to the gopis. So Uddhava goes from Mathura to Vrindavan thinking, this is a great opportunity for me to teach the gopis how to worship Krishna, how to be a devotee of Krishna. So he reads the letter to them, and then he notices something sublime. He wanted to preach to them on how to always remember Krishna. And the gopis tell him, remember Krishna. You are trying to teach us to remember Krishna. If you know how to teach us how to forget Krishna, then you can speak to us. Our problem is not remembering Krishna. Our problem is we want to forget him because he has abandoned us. So, hey Uddhava, don't teach us about remembering Krishna, because we are in deep pain of separation and we can't stop thinking about him. Maybe if we can stop thinking about him, our life will be normal and we can resume our so many duties and responsibilities. And Uddhava was astonished to witness this kind of intense devotion. He was both inspired and stunned by the gopis' devotion. He realized that his love for Krishna could not compare to the love that the gopis had for Krishna. And therefore, there is a beautiful prayer. Here's another beautiful aerial view of this Uddhava Kund. I think earlier this year, we had a wonderful class in the sunset, sitting here in this little lawn, about Harikatha. So here are the deities, beautiful deities in this temple. What does the name say? Ekang Jugal Kishorji. So this prayer that Uddhava offers in the 47th chapter, the 61st shloka of the 10th canto, Asam aho charanarenu jusam aham syam vrindavane kimapi gulma latau shadhinam ya dushyacham swajanam aryapatham chahitva bhejur mukunda padavim srutibhir vimigvyam. The gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons, and other family members who are very difficult to give up. And they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Krishna, which one should search for by Vedic knowledge. Oh, let me be fortunate enough to be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavana, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their lotus feet. So Uddhava is praying after witnessing the pastimes of the gopis and their intense love for Krishna. He thinks, better in my next life, I just be born as a blade of grass so that my head is always trampled by the lotus feet of the gopis. So where does Uddhava come and take residence again? Not at the Uddhava Kund, at another Sarovar, which we will discover soon. And this, my dear devotees, is the holiest place in all of the universes. This is Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. Many of us will end the parikrama here in Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, but actually you should end your parikrama where you started, which is at Manasi Ganga. So there is a half parikrama route and there is a full parikrama route. So in the half parikrama route, it will probably be around 10 kilometers. If you do the full parikrama route, you will cover maybe 23, 24 kilometers. So many devotees will do either the half parikrama or the full parikrama. So you can see smack dab in the middle of all of these small temples, houses, residences, the holiest of the holiest places there, Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. So Radha Kund is to the right and Shyam Kund to the left. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits Vrindavan for the first time, this place was a complete agricultural field. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was searching for where is this Radha Kund and where is this Shyama Kund, the leelas that happened during Dwapara Yuga here. So he was searching for this place and he suddenly gets into the middle of a paddy field and does prokshana from some small water in a small pond. And all the Vrajavasis are wondering what's going on. Why is this holy sadhu going in the middle of a agricultural field and doing prokshana and, dancing in transcendental bliss? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered and stated that this is actually Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. Much later on, Raghunath Das Goswami constructs these two kunds. And we will shortly come to Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi here. There is also a place here somewhere, where would it be? Either on this side, yeah, on this side, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to sit and chant the holy names of the Lord here on the banks of the Shyama Kund. So it is said that this is the holiest place in all of the cosmos, and that there is no other holier place than this place. And we'll come into the Mahima shortly. So here, devotees, here's another aerial shot. There is also Lalita Sakhi's Kund here. So all of the Sakhi's Kunds are also in and around this place. So when you do parikrama, there is an opportunity to visit the 8 Sakhis places and their temples also. So here's another aerial view. What is the position of Radha Kund is mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction as well as in the Padma Purana, and of course a lot of other Puranas. We've just selected 2 shlokas here. So in this particular Nectar of Instruction, the 9th verse, Srila Rupa Goswami says, the holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavana, because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavana is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kund, not even Shyam Kund, Sri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial, nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? it is said that this Radha Kund is the liquid form of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, if you take Prokshana in this Radha Kund, it is as good as serving Srimati Radharani directly. For us, at least some of us devotees, or some of our Guru Maharajs would have instructed us that we should not take a dip in Radha Kund. But you can do Prokshana. So what do devotees do generally if they visit Radha Kund? The first thing they will do is dip their beads in Radha Kund to purify it. And yes, you can take sips of water. You can light a lamp in Kartik month. At night time, every night, the whole kund, I don't have a night shot of it, but this whole kund will be lit with lamps. Everybody will light lamps, and at night time it looks very, very beautiful. So we read about the pastime of Arishtashura. Right? He assumes it's a demon, but he assumes the form of a bull and enters Vrindavan with the purpose of killing Krishna. Of course, Krishna is the Supreme Lord himself. He can identify a demon no matter in what kind of disguise he comes. So Krishna destroys Aristasura. So he kills the bull. And then he approaches Radharani and the Sakhis. And they're like, no, stay far away from us. You can't even come close to us. You are a sinner. You've committed the most heinous sin. The sin of, one of the heinous sins is killing a cow. And Krishna says, I've not killed a cow. I've just killed a bull. Radharani says, what's the difference? Bull is representing, is acting like the father of dharma. And Krishna says, but then that's a demon. If the demon comes in the disguise of a bull, I can kill. What is the problem? And Radharani says, no, but because the demon has taken the shelter of the body of a bull, you have committed a sin. So Krishna just smiles and says, okay, so what would you like me to do? So Radharani says, you better go and take a dip in every single holy river. Only then we will consider you to be purified. So Krishna just smiles. So he digs his foot into the Brajabhumi, and then he says, Gangai cha Yamunai chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidhi Kurum. So when we are actually purifying the water in the Achaman cup, this is the mantra that we have to recite. We are invoking all of the rivers, we are mentioning the main rivers, to come and reside in that water. So we look at that water and we chant this mantra. So Krishna chanted this mantra. And all the personalities of rivers came there and bowed down to Krishna. My dear Lord, how can we serve you? And Krishna says, here, I have dug up a pond. Please enter this pond. And they said, yes, my dear Lord, we are here to serve you. So when the rivers, all the river waters have flown into this Shyamakund, Shyama jumps into the pond and takes a bath. And he comes out and he says, okay, now I'm pure. And then he accuses the gopis of speaking untruth. He tells them, you have taken the side of a demon. So you have also become impure. So you have also contaminated yourself because you are defending a demon. So you also need to purify yourself. So the gopis thinking, oh my God, Shyamasundara is right. We have contaminated ourselves by taking the side of Arishtasura. After all, he was an Ashura. So they think, okay, let us go to this Manasi Ganga. Right there beside Shyamakund, they try with their bangles, they tried digging Mother Earth to make a pond there. And what did they want to do? They wanted to transfer water from Manasi Ganga to this Radhakund. But it will take years for them to do that. So they dug the pond, but there was not enough water and not enough time for them to fill the kund and take a bath. So Krishna again summons all the rivers. And again, all the personalities of rivers appear before Krishna and they ask, my dear Lord, please tell us what we can do. And the Lord tells them, please go over to Srimati Radhike and ask her for service. So the rivers approach Srimati Radharani and they beg and plead with Srimati Radharani to engage them in seva. And so she consents and she asks them to enter the pond that they had dug. So all of the rivers, the same rivers that had entered Shamkund, enter Radhakund. Now you would think Radha Rani would be the first person to jump into Radhakund so that she can purify herself. No, no, no. Shamkund, Shama Sundara jumps into Radhakund and he glorifies Srimati Radharani and he declares that this Radhakund is non-different than Srimati Radharani. And therefore, as dear as Srimati Radharani is to him, this Radhakund is also very dear to Shama Sundara. So, Srila Vyasadeva also glorifies this Radhakund in the Padma Purana. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnoho Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Ratyanta Vallabha. Just as Radha is dear to Lord Krishna, so her bathing place Radha Kundaha is dear to him. She alone is his most beloved of all the gopis. You notice that Yata Radha Priya Vishnu, that Radharani who was very, very dear to Krishna, there is no difference between her and this Radha Kund. So here's another shot of the two kunds, and you see Krishna killing Arishtashur. So one more view, and here we are going to, I'm going to show you where this place is that we are seeing. Yeah, okay, acha. There is a small Giriraj Mandir here. So you can enter this Radhakund from any one of these places surrounding this area. So normally devotees will enter from this side. They will visit Giriraj Govardhan here. You can do a small abhishek there. There are some temples here inside this building as well. There are chains all across the kund on both sides, where you can hold the chain and get into the kunds to take a bath. But as I said, once Prabhupada heard that his disciples had jumped into the Radha Kund and were swimming and frolicking in it and having fun, so to speak. And Prabhupada got very upset with his disciples. He said, the holiest of the places, and you are interested in having fun, frolicking. So the divinity of a place can be removed when you treat it very casually. So Prabhupada told his disciples, never ever do that again. This is Srimati Radharani herself. You can't jump into the pond. You can't, quote unquote, have fun in the pond with each other. If you are at all, you want to enter the pond, you enter it with reverence and get out with reverence. I remember earlier this year, a few of us devotees had come on the very last day of the parikrama, and we were sitting here on this side, and we wanted to chant 16 rounds. It's nice, if you have an opportunity to chant all 16 rounds. Of course, when you are in Vrindavan Parikrama, you can chant 64 rounds a day very easily. It is not at all difficult. You can chant 4 rounds of 16 rounds. So we were sitting here, a few of us Matajis from South America and myself, we were sitting here. We did Aarti to Srimati Radharani, and we were chanting there for a couple of hours. And suddenly somebody dived into the pool and making a big splash, Immediately the Vrajavasi scolded him and told him to get out of that pond. So they are very, very, very careful. The Vrajavasis know that this is Srimati Radharani herself. But outsiders may not know, who may be coming to Vrindavan for the first time. They may not know all of this Mahimas, So he got a proper tongue lashing after he just dove into the pond to take a bath. So immediately there were a couple of priests there that were taking bath before they stepped into the temple. So they gave him a proper tongue lashing. So this is a very, very holy place. Yeah. So Prabhupada, ideally we should not put our dirty feet into this pond, right? So generally we take prokshna only. So anyway, we're going to come across here. Somewhere here, there is a narrow lane and steps you can go in. And somewhere here, I will show you a picture of the samadhis of some of the Goswamis. But Raghunath Das Goswami's samadhi is right here. Right here. And there are some beautiful pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami. What a great devotee he was. So in one of those smaller lanes that you go into, you will come to this building where the samadhis are there. I had never visited these samadhis before, but this time we were very fortunate as we were sitting on the steps of Radha Kund. Our Guru Maharaj's translator, Achintya Chaitanya Prabhu, happened to be there. And he saw us, and I've gotten to know Prabhu for a couple of years now. So he said, would you like me to take you to other places? And he was so sweet. He took us to places that we've never visited before. The place where Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came to do his bhajan. Another place where Bhakti Vinod Thakur came to do his bhajan. And a couple of other places. They were actually residences where our great acharyas were staying. And you could see the bed on which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would rest, his rocking chair, his padukas. It was such a blissful experience that early morning. We were so fortunate. That is why we say you should be surrounded by devotees. You never know what good fortune you may have in taking darshan of unexpected places. So here in this Goswami Samadhi Mandir, there's Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's Samadhi, and it is the Samadhi Mandir. Okay, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who writes the Chaitanya Charitamrita, his samadhi is also here. So certainly the great acharyas would have spent quite a bit of time at Radhakund and Shamakund, right? So also Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhajan Sthali is here. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is cited frequently by Srila Prabhupada because he writes a detailed commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. So oftentimes when you read the purports of Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada would mention Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's name. So this is the place where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur did his bhajan. And close by also is the bhajan sthali of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And his most worshipable deity, Radha Raman, you can see right here. Although the temple is not here, the temple is at a different place. But the bhajan sthali is here. So who is this Gopal Bhatta Goswami? He is actually the son of Venkata Bhatta, who is said to be one of the chief priests in the Srirangam temple in South India. And so technically they are all from the Sri Sampradaya. So they were all worshippers of Ramanujacharya. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes on his South India tour, during Chaturmas, the father begs the Lord to stay back for all 4 months there, because after all, it's a holy place. Usually during Chaturmas, the sannyasis don't travel, they stay in one place. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami may have been 10 years old, maximum 11 years old. He has the good fortune of serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by getting his padukas and, just doing some small errands for the Lord. And eventually the father, the son, and also the uncle become devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one of the famous personalities who is Gopal Bhatta Goswami's uncle is known as Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati. So later on, the son of Venkata Bhatta was known as Gopala Bhatta Goswami, and he establishes the Radha Raman temple. We'll go through the pastimes of this, how this particular deity came about. But this is Raghunath Das Goswami's Bhajan Sthali. And the actual samadhi is on the kund itself, Radha Kund. It is said that he spent many, many hours sitting in the hot sun during summertime, just chanting the holy names of the Lord. And he would do this so frequently sometimes, because in those days it was, a forested area, Now you see thousands and thousands of buildings all around this place. So one day, even a tiger comes, and Raghunath Das Goswami is so deep in his chanting and meditation, he doesn't even see the tiger. And one day, Sanatana Goswami wants to come and tell Raghunath Goswami, you please stop all of this, be safe. You do your bhajan, but you should stay safe, because we can't bear the thought of being separated from you. So one day, Sanatana Goswami is watching Raghunath Das Goswami doing his bhajan at the Radha Kund. And it is piping hot noon, midday time. It was so hot that Raghunath Das Goswami was sweating as he was doing his bhajan. And what does Sanatana Goswami witness? He sees Srimati Radharani come there and hold her pallu over the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. So if you remember, Raghunath Das Goswami is the Acharya that represents the ultimate goal of Krishna Prema, Prayojana. So this is that beautiful place. So he was the first of the 6 Goswamis to actually meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is wonderful pastimes between him and Nityananda Ram and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was born in a very wealthy family, and he wanted to leave his family, run away. He tried running away. They would capture him and bring him back. And the father thought, okay, best to get him married. If we get him married to a beautiful girl, he'll forget about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he will lead a normal life. But even after the parents got him married to a most beautiful girl, still Raghunath Das Goswami was always meditating on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs him, when the time comes, I will send for you. At that time, you come. Same thing, even for Gopal Bhatta Goswami. He didn't, even though he was very young, 10 or 11 years old, he wanted to leave. He wanted to stay with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you are the only son. You take care of your parents very nicely. At the right time, I will call you. And only then Gopal Bhatta Goswami also comes to Vrindavan. So ultimately, all of the Goswamis spend their last years in Vrindavan, in this most holy place. So he is coming from a very fabulously wealthy family. So there is this nice pastime of the Chidadahi Mahotsav, where the Lord orders him to prepare nice foodstuffs made of beaten rice, dried beaten rice. And therefore, that particular Utsav is still celebrated in ISKCON today as Chidadahi Mahotsav. And we also call it Panihati Utsav because there is a place called Panihati where this particular pastime took place, where this Chidadahi is made, prepared by Raghunath Das Goswami for all of the thousands and thousands and thousands of devotees of the Lord. Lord Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not there when this pastime happens, but Lord Nityananda calls for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, feeds him personally, this preparations offered by Raghunath Das Goswami, and then it is distributed to all the other devotees. So what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Raghunath Das Goswami? Gramya kathana sunibhe, gramya vartana kahibe, bhalana khaibe, ara bhalana paribe, amani manada hanya Krishna nama sadalabe, vraje radha Krishna seva manase karibe. So don't indulge in worldly talk. Don't hear worldly talk. Try your best to avoid mundane matters. Don't eat delicious food, but take whatever ordinary food may come of its own account. And don't dress luxuriously. Always try to take the name of Krishna with the attitude of giving respect to others without expecting respect from anyone. Be humble and never aspire for respectful dealings from others. So even if people don't treat you with respect, accept it. Don't get angry and let your ego surface up. In this way, try to take the name of Krishna constantly. And within, try to serve Shri Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. Mentally, you be in Vrindavan rendering service to Shri Radha Krishna. And in this way, you will be engaged in the Leelas. I'm looking at the clock. We will conclude with Kusum Sarovar. This Kusum Sarovar is around 2 kilometers from Radhakund. Again, it is on the path of the Parikrama. So all of these kunds are on the path of the Parikrama. So, but you should know where the kunds are, because otherwise you'll just miss it. You will not know from walking on the road that this kund is actually there. Somebody has to guide you and tell you this is the kund there. So it's nice if you can take somebody who really knows all of the holy places around this Govardhan, on the path of the Govardhan Parikrama. So it is said here, this Kusum Sarovar is actually the garden of Lord Krishna, where he would grow different types of flowers so that he could put these flowers in Radharani's hair. So oftentimes Radharani and Krishna would meet along with the Sakhis here, and Krishna would braid Srimati Radharani's hair. And it is at this Kusum Sarovar that Uddhava lives eternally. In his prayer, when he says, let me just be a bush or a tree or a blade of grass so that I can be trampled upon by the lotus feet of the gopis. So Kusuma Sarovar, it's a sarovar of flowers. Of course, I have gone there. I don't know, maybe I've not gone to the garden where all the flowers are. I don't remember seeing all different kinds of varieties of flowers. But anyway, this is the garden of Krishna himself, which he was personally maintaining. And sometimes Lalita Sakhi along with Radharani would come when Krishna was not there. They wanted to pluck flowers from Krishna's garden. And Krishna was like, oh, you're plucking flowers without my knowledge. So he wanted to play a pastime with them. So what would Krishna do? As Radharani was stretching up to pluck one flower, he would be sitting on the tree. He would put his foot on the branch so that the branch would bend down and Radharani could easily pluck the flower that she wanted. And the minute she reached up and held one hand on the branch and the other hand used to pluck the flower, Krishna would remove his foot from the branch and Radharani would go flying up. And Radharani immediately knew, okay, this must be Krishna only. So they had these beautiful pastimes. Radharani would get very angry when Krishna did all these naughty, mischievous things, but Krishna would just laugh. So when Narada Muni wants to witness the conjugal pastimes of the Lord in Brajabhumi, he approaches Vrinda Devi. And Vrinda Devi says, first, you take a dip in this Kusum Sarovar. You purify yourself because you are not in the right body to witness the pastimes, the Rasa Leela, definitely. Yeah. So then Narada Muni becomes Naradi Gopi. And he joins and is able to witness the Rasa Leela pastimes of the Lord. So the parikrama should end in Manasi Ganga. But as I said, we normally end it in the most holiest place, which is Radhakund. So some views of Kusum Sarovar from aerial shots. So you can see how huge it is. Yeah, so the parikrama route is here on the road. If you do, as I said, if you don't know, you will completely miss many, many sarovars like this. So it is very, very large, this Kusum Sarovar. And you can see the water is green. All sides there are nice little forests containing flowers, different types of flowers that Krishna was growing for the purposes of making garlands. Inside one of the little structures here, very, very ornate, one of the ceilings that you can see. Kusum Sarovar during Kartik month, completely lit up with lamps. And you can see this aerial shot of Kusum Sarovar. So such a huge Sarovar, but these are all lamps. These are not electric lights. These are actually oil lamps. Same thing Radhakund and Shamkund. So you see how beautifully they've lit lamps all along the border. So what does Prabhupada say when it comes to our mood when we enter the Holy Dham? And what do the Acharyas say? What should be our mood? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given an example of what one can feel while performing parikrama of a dhama. When Lord Nityananda took Jiva Goswami for a Navadvipa Parikrama, it was a real transcendental experience. While having kirtana, they were dancing, rolling on the ground, and crying in ecstasy. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya appeared with all his associates. So when you're in dham, you are in a joyful, blissful mood, and you exhibit your joy and bliss by singing and dancing and rolling on the ground, like we will do in Ramanreti. One cannot enter into the dhama just by buying a ticket or by physical presence. One has to be qualified by the purity of the heart and must always carry the right mood. So when you enter the dham, don't think it is just a physical entrance. Your heart and consciousness must be prepared to be in that mood. So the right mood is to pray to the holy dham, pray to the saintly persons residing there, to bestow their blessings, to reveal and to share the transcendental nature of the holy dham with us. That means, even if one is not present there physically, one can enter Vrindavana. The real ticket to Vrindavan Dham is the sound vibration. We'll read that again. The real ticket to Vrindavan Dham is the sound vibration. And one should receive those vibrations with a humble heart. Here's a beautiful picture of Prabhupada in Vrindavan. Prabhupada looks so beautiful with that garland, along with all of his disciples and devotees. So Prabhupada, when he was sitting in New York, he told his disciples, well, they asked him, do you not miss Vrindavan? And Prabhupada said, here I am now sitting in New York, the world's greatest city. But my heart is always hankering after that Vrindavan. I shall be very happy to return to my Vrindavan, that sacred place. So Prabhupada was carrying Vrindavan with him wherever he went. So one need not necessarily physically go to Vrindavan. You can make your heart itself Vrindavan, where the divine couple eternally reside. Vancha kalpadarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai. Jai Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gurudev ki jai. Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.